Are you using the 4 types of communication that make your business money? Find out today. Hey y'all, I'm Kendrick Shope, creator of Authentic Selling, the #1 sales process for your business, which allows you to get more customers, make more money, and have the freedom to live the life you want to live. For tactical, practical, proven, strategic sales solutions that work for your business, ring the bell and subscribe. There are 4 types of communication that make your business money. The first type of communication is as old as time, tale as old as time. It's not Beauty and the Beast, but what a great movie. The first type of communication that makes your business money is verbal. And think about it. Before we had video and technology and electricity and all of the telephones, we had campfires. Maybe not we. Maybe we, I don't know, maybe in a previous life. It doesn't matter. The point is, humans sat around campfires and told about their day. That's how we get culture and history and a lot of the stories that we build our foundations as humans around today in modern society. But if you go way back to traveling salespeople, right? Usually they were men, so traveling salesmen, I'm going to say traveling salesmen, they communicated verbally. Now, what's interesting about this is where selling gets some of that icky, sleazy, slimy, gross, crusty, musty, rusty, dusty feeling is from our ancestors' experience with traveling salesmen. A traveling salesman would ride down the old town road, gonna take my horse to the old town road, gonna ride. They'd ride into town and they'd say, hey, I have got this bottle of elixir that's gonna make you feel 10 feet tall and bulletproof or hotter than you have ever felt before, or you're gonna be able to pull up that shotgun and get rid of that, whatever. I'm being completely ridiculous because I don't know what it was like in that time. Obviously, it's not my favorite time in the history of mankind. The point is, traveling salesmen would ride in and they would say, hey, I got this bottle of elixir that's going to make you feel incredible. And so what would happen? People would buy the elixir and they would drink the elixir. By the way, I love hint water. Side note, no, this is not a commercial, but have y'all tried this stuff? I'm in flipping love. So they would drink, not the hint water, but they would drink the elixir that the traveling salesman was selling, and they would feel amazing because they were drunk. Because this stuff was, majority of it was alcohol. But what would happen the next day when the traveling salesman would get back on that old town road and ride to the next village or the next town is everybody would feel like death because they were hung over. How did the traveling salesman communicate all the benefits, whether they were real or lies, to the people in the town? With the spoken word. So that is the first type of communication that you must have in order to sell your products or services. Now, translate that into today's selling. There are a couple of things we need to take away from that. Number 1, you do not have to use lies and false propaganda to sell your products and services. When you learn to verbally speak the benefits, so not just what they do, but why it matters, how it's going to change somebody's experience, you are selling. So verbally, you need to be able to say, as a result of this product, this service, this course, you will insert your benefit. A mistake that a lot of people make is they say things like, course creators make this mistake a lot. They say things like, you're going to be able to market better online. Okay, well, I don't know about you, but when I go to bed at night, I don't dream of being able to market better online. That is a feature. I dream of what the marketing better online does for me. More money, more customers, more freedom. Life coaches. I don't go to bed at night and dream of understanding my limiting beliefs, and your customers don't either. So you need to be able to verbally express what your product or service does and why it matters verbally. That's the first type of communication that makes your business money. The second type is even older than verbal communication. And I think back to, again, I don't remember, but images I've seen in caves where people drew stories on the cave, right? We're watching Vampire Diaries in this house, and I'm thinking of I'm having an image of Damon Salvatore. Whew. And looking at all these like images on a cave. I think that was in Vampire Diaries. Anyway, the point here is we need to be able to communicate with the written word as well. Now, here's what's really important. I noticed when I moved from my top performing pharmaceutical sales job that I could talk to anyone about what I was selling because that's what I had done all day long. But I had never, not one time, had to write out a sales page. I had never, not one time, had to write out a social media post. And so you can be great at verbal communication and yet not so great at written communication, or vice versa. But when you are selling online, you need to know how to write sales pages. Again, same thing with verbal. You got to be able to know how to talk about the benefits of what you do. By the way, if you want to know how to write a sales page, you can watch the video below. So the first type of communication that makes your business money is verbal. We got to be able to speak it. The second type of communication that makes your business money is written. We got to be able to write it. And you don't have to be a great copywriter, and you don't have to be an extrovert with jazz hands in the air to be a great verbal communicator, but you have to know the basics of doing it. The third type of communication that makes your business money is follow-up. Now, this is a little bit of a head scratcher because follow-up communication can be either verbal or written. It can be both. But the reason that follow-up communication makes your business money is statistics show that if you follow up with a customer, you are going to double the amount of sales that you close. I want you to think about that for a minute. Double the amount of sales that you close. That in turn means you're going to double the amount of money that you make. That in turn means you are going to double the amount of people that you help. So by understanding that follow-up is in a communication bucket all on its own really matters for your business. And this is logical. Like this is math, y'all. This is math 101. So let's think about it for a minute. Let's say that you are interviewing coaches and you're trying to decide between Coach A and Coach B. And both have a service that you're interested in. Both have pros and cons. Coach A does the sales call. They are communicating with you verbally. They send you a nice written follow-up. Thanks for your time. And so, okay, great. Coach B does the same thing. Has a great conversation with you verbally, sends you a written communication. Thanks for your time. But then you never hear from Coach A again. Coach A leaves it in your hands. Coach B, in contrast, follows up with you. Not in an icky, sleazy, slimy, crusty, musty, rusty, dusty way, but in a way that makes you feel heard, in a way that makes you feel helped, in a way that makes you feel seen and understood, because there is a way to follow up in a way that makes you feel heard, seen, understood, valued. Science shows that you are going to go with Coach B the majority of the time. Let's add a Coach C into this mix. So Coach A, you never hear from again. Coach B follows up with you, let's say 5 times. Now you may be thinking, ooh, I don't like it when people follow up with me 5 times. But if it's done the right way, you will. Coach C follows up with you 3 times. Statistics still show you're gonna go with Coach B because they are top of mind. So when you are ready to solve that problem, the first person that you're gonna think of is Coach B. Let me tell it to you a different way with a Shope sales story. So when back in my other lifetime, not caveman lifetime, but back in my job before this job, I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. And I was interviewing for a new job. And actually, I was getting ready to leave selling lumber, which is a visual all in itself, y'all. Me walking around lumber yards. I mean, it's like, where's Waldo? Pick out the thing that doesn't fit. Me and my skirts and my heels and my hard hat. I did not fit. I was good at it, but didn't fit. I wanted to leave selling lumber and I wanted to transition into pharmaceutical sales. Stick with me. I know you're thinking, what's this got to do with me? Hold on, I'm going to tell you. And so I interviewed with 2 companies, GlaxoSmithKline and Eli Lilly. Glaxo made me the first offer. About 2 weeks later, Eli Lilly also made me an offer, but I had already accepted the job with Glaxo. For 3 years, count them, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Uno, dos, tres. You get the point. Overkill, right? For 3 years, the hiring manager, who later became the regional director of Eli Lilly, followed up with me. He didn't say, hey, you need to come work for us now, what he would say in written communication, follow-up, was, hey, checking in to see how you doing. How you doing? How you doing? He did not speak like Joey Tribbiani. How are you doing? Hey, Kendrick, checking in. I heard that you had a killer sales month. Congratulations. Hey, Kendrick, if we have an opening, let me know if you're interested. Again, I felt like he valued me as a person. 3 years later, when I was ready to jump from GlaxoSmithKline, not because they were a bad company, but I was ready to move on to a different company, the first person I called was Stan Finnerty from Eli Lilly. I didn't even have to call one other person because I got that job. The reason I called Stan Finnerty is not because I interviewed with him 3 years prior, but because he took the time to follow up in a way that made me feel heard, seen, valued. So, follow-up is just math. If you do it in the right way, you are going to be the person that is top of mind when your customer is ready to solve that problem. You can double your business. So the first type of communication that makes your business money is verbal. The second type of communication that makes your business money is written. The third type can be both verbal and written. It's follow-up. The fourth type of communication that makes your business money is social media. Oh, why did you say it, Kendrick? Social media is such a beast. Like, do I have to be on social to sell? Okay, no, you don't. I said it, you don't. But sales statistics show that when a business is on social media, they close 70% more sales. Now, here's what I want you to see. The golden rule of authentic selling is if it feels icky, sleazy, slimy, gross, crusty, musty, rusty, dusty, don't do it. Find a better way, right? We're going to use our Inner Supremes tool. So if it feels off, we're going to stop in the name of authentic selling. If it starts to get icky, think it over. Find a better way. Yeah, I was a lounge singer in my previous life. My whole point here is this. What is my point? Do I have a point? Magic wands. Sorry. Do they have a point? That's like wicked. My mind is like, this is what it's like to be in my mind. Completely freaking chaotic. My point here is this, that you do not have to be on social media to run an online business. But if you do it in a way that feels good, in a way that makes people feel seen, heard, valued, then you are going to sell more. The statistics support it. So the 4 types of communication that make your business money: verbal communication, we got to be able to speak to the benefits. Written communication, we got to be able to speak to the benefits. Follow-up, it's proven. Google it. You will double your sales if you learn to follow up in a way that feels good to you. That's the key. And social media. Businesses on social media make 70% more sales. So just by learning to follow up and learning to do social media in a way that is authentic and true to you, that feels good, you are going to drastically increase the number of sales that you make. Again, the golden rule applies to it all. If it feels icky, sleazy, slimy, gross, don't do it. Let's find a better way. And that is the key. Because oftentimes what happens in the online industry is, as business owners, we learn from an expert who appears to have done a couple of the things we want to do. They grow their following, or they boast of having these multi-million-dollar sales years. Great, sign me up for that. That's why I got into this, right? Among other things. But then we learn their process and it feels like it doesn't fit. It feels like a little black dress you're trying to squeeze your way into. When you finally get it zipped, you can't breathe. You're worried the zipper's gonna and it's just not a pleasant experience. That is not something that's sustainable. Selling in a way that feels like you are sucked into a dress that's 4 sizes too small, that you might bust out of at any minute, is not a pleasant experience. So, just because these 4 types of communication make you money does not mean that you have to do any of these things or anything that a coach says in a way that feels icky, sleazy, slimy, gross, crusty, musty, rusty, dusty. Instead, we want to Find a way that works for you. And that is the beauty of authentic selling. It is fluid. It moves. So what works for Coach A may not work for Coach B. What works for Coach B may not work for Coach A and Coach C. That doesn't mean that they stop following up. It means that they all find their own rhythm of following up. They all find their own way to follow up. It doesn't mean that you necessarily stop social media altogether. Instead, we find a way to do social media that feels good to Coach A, Coach B, Coach C, and you. That is communication that sells. Verbal, written, follow-up, and social media. Which one are you actively doing that feels off? Are you actively doing one that feels off? And how can you change it so that it feels like helping? A great place to start learning how you can change some of these old, tired marketing and sales activities that don't fit is to subscribe to this channel. Ring my bell, because that's what we do here. We give you the proven, the rooted, the sales science, and we tell you how to apply it in a way that feels authentic to you. I believe in you, and I believe in your business.